Did you guys heard about the tragic incident of that submersible Titan? Which went down into the deep ocean carrying 5 people, including billionaires. But only its debris came back.
Incredibly complex search operation.
We're losing time and we're losing opportunity to find them alive.
Ocean Gate shouldn't have been doing what it was doing.
As per some theories, the ship of Titanic was cursed, and it doesn't like anybody near itself. Even though this ship had sunk more than 100 years now, but mystery still surrounds it. And today I'm going to talk about 5 mysterious facts about Titanic, and some of its survived passengers which will shock your core. And also some bonus at the end, so stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe to the Dark Room as more such contents are coming your way. You know, the Titanic was plagued by tragedy from the start. 8 people died during the ship's construction at Shelf, before it even sails, which seemed a bad sign. And when the ship was about to sail, in the last minute, the ship's second officer was replaced, and he forgot to hand off the key of a locker, where the ship's binoculars were kept. And because of that, the ship's lookouts, Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee, didn't have access to binoculars during the whole journey. So they couldn't see very far, and failed to spot the iceberg. In time, it seems like it was their destiny, even though Frederick Fleet survived the sinking, but tragically went on to take his own life in 1965, after the death of his wife. Was it because of some curse? Anyway, that key resurfaced at auction in 2010, where it was sold for over $130,000. Do you know about John Jacob Astor IV, who was not just the richest man on the Titanic, but widely believed to be the richest man in the world at the time of his death? He was worth an estimated $150 million, which is $4.5 billion in today's dollars. But tragically enough, he had also died that night. Astor was on the ship returning home from a months-long honeymoon with his new wife, Madeline Talmadge Force, who was only 18 years of age and was 28 years younger than him. The extended honeymoon was actually a way to escape society's gossip. Astor had just been divorced within 2 years of his new marriage, which was relatively unheard of back then. Later, Astor's body was one of the few that was recovered in the Atlantic Ocean after the ship went down. Among other possessions, he was found with $2,044 in his pocket, roughly $74,000 today. Remember in the movie, Rose was about to sink, but survived at the end. That was kind of similar to the real life of Rhoda Mary Acob. She was on the deck until the very end with her 2 sons, and all 3 went into the water with the ship. Tragically, her 2 sons were washed away by the ocean, but Rhoda was stuck on a broken piece of the ship and eventually pulled into a lifeboat that was rescued by the Carpathia. The Navratil brothers, 2 cute boys, Edmund and Michelle, were just 2 and 4 years old respectively when the Titanic sank. They were with their father, Michel Sr., who had kidnapped them. Separated from their mother, he decided to take them to America in the hopes that his estranged wife would follow, and that they could start a new life in the new world. Their father put them on a lifeboat, and he was never seen again. The 2 spoke no English, so they were taken in by a French-speaking survivor, Margaret Hayes, until the authorities could locate their mother. She found them a month after the disaster, as their faces being plastered on newspapers the world over. Futility, a novel written by American author Morgan Robertson, was published in 1898, 14 years before the Titanic set sail. It centered around the sinking of a fictional ship called the Titan. According to Time, there's an eerie number of similarities between the ship's sinking in Futility and the Titanic in real life. First, the ship names are just 2 letters off Titan versus Titanic. They were also said to be almost the same size, and both sank in April due to an iceberg. Both ships had been described as unsinkable, and sadly, both had just over the legally required amount of lifeboats, which were nowhere near enough. The author was accused of being a psychic, but he explained that the uncanny similarities were simply a product of his extensive knowledge, saying, "I know what I'm writing about, that's all." And now the bonus facts. In May 1912, just a month after that tragedy, American silent film actress Dorothy Gibson was one of the approximately 700 survivors released a film called Saved from the Titanic. While the film was successful, it exists only in memories now, because the only known print of the film was destroyed in a fire. There was a nurse named Violet Jessup who didn't only survive the Titanic, but later she also survived the ship Britannica. While there is very little evidence of John and Rose being real, but there were at least 13 couples celebrating their honeymoon on the Titanic, and most of their men died in that tragedy. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for further updates. Good night.